Today we're going to talk about the perspective of someone that lives with a person that has hearing loss. And myself included, my mother had hearing loss when I was a kid. And I remember that she would sometimes make a mistake when she'd ask a question. She'd be in the kitchen, I'd be sitting there, she'd ask me, what I'd like for lunch. And I'd ask for a particular type of sandwich with turkey and cheese. And she'd come back with something completely different because she could not hear the word cheese. And at the time when I was a little kid, I didn't really know what was going on with my mom, that I'd ask for something and then she'd come back with something different. But that's very typical for living with someone with hearing loss, is the frustration of them not understanding you or hearing you correctly. And one of the most important parts of a relationship is, in fact, that you want to be able to be sure that your spouse, your father, your mother, whoever it may be, that they get you, they understand you, they hear you. And the person that has the hearing loss has to understand that when they get fit with hearing aids, they're giving a tremendous gift to everyone around them. It's going to help them connect with them in a way where they can do more things. They can go out to restaurants, they can go to parties, they can have intimate conversations at the kitchen table. So I'm going to go over the bullet points now. So some of the bullet points, one would be frustration and repeating yourself. I feel like I'm always repeating myself. Sometimes it's like they aren't even listening. It's exhausting having to raise my voice all the time or having to shout to get their attention. And this is a very good conversation to talk about. So often when you raise your voice or you shout at them, they're not going to hear you any better. They're just going to know that you're talking to them. But often making things louder doesn't necessarily make it clearer for someone with hearing loss. So it even makes it even more frustrating for the two parties, because the person with the hearing loss is yelling at you saying, stop shouting at me. And you're saying, well, yeah, but I have to because you're not listening to me. So it already makes everyone sort of on their tippy toes with hearing loss. Sometimes I don't even bother telling them something important because I don't know they won't hear it right. I hear this all the time, where someone with hearing loss will say, well, my spouse sometimes talks to me and I miss them, and I ask them to repeat it and they say, never mind. And then you have this back and forth banter. No, I want to hear what you said. And said, no, it wasn't important. So you know that your spouse, the one that can hear, has gotten so frustrated that they've decided to not repeat things if they're not essential. And that is a big issue in a relationship. Worrying about social isolation. I'm worried they will avoid social events because it's harder for them to hear. They seem quieter in groups and less engaged. This is not just a danger to hearing loss, this is a danger to mental health. If you are isolating yourself and not connecting with people, we know that is a big indicator of cognitive decline and your well-being overall. I can tell they're missing out on so much when we're with family and friends, but they don't seem to realize how much. So, the emotional impact. It hurts when they misunderstand me and don't understand, and it's causing tension in a relationship. And we talked about that it can be a wedge in a relationship when you have hearing loss. I want to help, but I don't know how to bring up the conversation without making them feel attacked or embarrassed. So often the person, or you see this with kids, they'll tell their parents, hey, you need to address this. I'm going insane here. You're not hearing me, and you don't need to live this way. You're making a choice, and this choice is making our relationship deteriorate. And so bringing up the conversation. If I were this is my parent. You want to do it in a way that you don't want to belittle them. You want to talk to them heart to heart and have a conversation in a setting where they have understanding of how important it is to you that they hear better, and give them the why. That's important. Desire for better quality of life. I just want them to hear better so we can enjoy things together without always struggling to communicate. And I know their quality of life would improve if they could hear more clearly, and it would reduce so much frustration for both of us. So those are the talking points, and there can be talking points that you have with your loved one. You know, you can say, hey, you know what? I watched this video, and you know, what he's talking about is exactly what's happening in our life, and we need to do something about it. So, okay.